Hey guys, Mr. Hill here. I wanted to show you guys a couple things related to the Chapter 8 study guide and just Chapter 8 in general, as far as what you need to know to complete the study guide and what you need to know for an assessment, like a quiz, that we're going to take hopefully the week after spring break. So we'll take some time between now and then to review. Don't expect it immediately the first time you hear from me after break, but pretty soon. So there's three main ideas to focus on in Chapter 8. I'm going to cover them in three separate videos to break it up. If there's one of those areas that you need more help on, you don't have to watch the whole thing. But the areas are reaction types, which is what we're going to cover here in this video, and then balancing chemical equations and using the activity series to make predictions about chemical reactions. So this first video is going to be about reaction types. And there are 5 types of reactions. You don't need to know these terms because they will be given to you in like a word bank. The first type is synthesis. Second type is decomposition. We have single displacement. Double displacement. And combustion. So we should be able to tell which of these 4 our reaction is by looking at what the reactants and products are. Okay, so what does a synthesis reaction looks like? Well, the word synthesis means to make something. So in synthesis, we make one new thing out of 2 or more simple reactants. Okay, so this is a synthesis reaction. It has one product and it has 2 reactants. So for example, if we had a reaction like hydrogen combines with oxygen to form water, because there's one product here and more than one reactant here, the only type of reaction it could be would be synthesis. So for synthesis, look for one product. Okay, the second type of reaction is called decomposition. And in a decomposition reaction, it's basically the opposite of synthesis. When something decomposes, it means it breaks down. So in decomposition, you have one reactant that breaks down into 2 or more simple products. So we'd have A and B as my products here. So again, the clue for decomposition is that there is one reactant. One reactant. Okay, an example of a decomposition reaction would be something like sodium chlorate will decompose into sodium chloride and oxygen. This reaction would need to be balanced. We'll talk about balancing in the next video. So again, a decomposition reaction is when there is only one reactant. So this one reactant made more than one product. Okay, third type of reaction is called single displacement. Okay, so in single displacement, you have one element that's by itself that reacts with a compound, and this element and this element in this compound are going to switch places. So you're going to get B by itself, and A is combined with this thing over here. Okay? So again, single displacement, you have an element, something by itself, that replaces a similar element. Okay, so an example of this might be something like fluorine reacts with sodium chloride to form chlorine and sodium fluoride. Sorry if you can't read that very well. So fluorine and chlorine are similar elements. Fluorine's by itself, chlorine's in the compound. They switch, and so now you have a different element by itself. Okay, big clue for a single displacement is you have an element on each side that switched places. Okay, the fourth type of reaction is called double displacement. Okay, in a double displacement reaction, you have ions from two ionic compounds. So this would be a compound. This is a different compound. Okay, as a result of this reaction, these elements are going to switch. So we have A goes with Y and B goes with X. Okay, so in double displacement, you have ions from two compounds are going to switch with each other. So an example of something like this would be like aluminum chloride, ionic compound, is going to react with magnesium hydroxide. Okay, as a result of this reaction, we would get magnesium chloride and aluminum hydroxide. Okay, aluminum and magnesium here switch places like that. Okay, and then the last type is called combustion. And in a combustion reaction, you have a hydrocarbon. So there's C. So this X and Y, this could be any number. The important part is that it contains carbon and hydrogen. That's a hydrocarbon, and everything else will be the same. It'll react with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water. These are really easy to spot because they have a hydrocarbon in them. So hydrocarbon reacts with oxygen to form CO2 and H2O. So again, you have to identify the type of reaction. So if you saw a reaction that had a hydrocarbon like this, C2H8, H6 plus O2 yields CO2 and H2O, you know that that has to be a combustion reaction because a hydrocarbon reacted with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water. Okay, back through them again. We had synthesis, where there's one product. Okay, this reaction has one single product, so it has to be synthesis. This one, there's one reactant, so it has to be decomposition. This one, you have an element and a compound, and then on the other side, a different element and a different compound. Single displacement. Double displacement. you have ions exchanging with each other. So ionic compound, different ionic compound, different ionic compound. And combustion is where you have a hydrocarbon reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water. Okay, hope that helps.